Mike, what's going on, brother?
How are you, Alex? How's everything? You hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
You sound a little bit choppy.
Do I sound choppy?
Yeah, you sound like you're going in and out. It might be my phone, though. Where are you at? What state you in?
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm originally from upstate New York myself, the Rochester area.
Oh, wow. And then how'd you end up down there?
I mean, I've had family down here my whole life, so it's kind of been a back and forth thing, you know.
Yeah, you're better off down there, though.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with everything happening these days, I'm definitely better off down here.
Yeah, I don't even go back to Staten Island. My wife works there, and she stays there mostly, so I don't even go back to visit much, you know. Right. I'm always over here now with the dogs. The last 6 years, I'm like I don't know what you call it, a Pennsylvanian.
I gotcha. I was checking out your site, man. I haven't seen it in a while. Now, I have been looking into Devil's Den for a long time now. But
appreciate that.
I noticed that you got two different tabs on the site, one for bullies, one for pit bulls. Now, pit bulls obviously being my preference for the working dogs, man. Rudy, not just Rudy, Sicily, Duchess, Mayflower, they all look perfect, dude.
Well, I'll be honest. The pit bulls, since 2017, I got back into the pit bulls, and it happened I was looking to counter everybody's actions with they're doing to the bullies. They're breeding bulldogs and French bulldogs. So my idea was get a couple real hardcore good pit bulls to breed back into my dog. Right. So what happened was I ended up doing that, and I just fell in love with the pit bulls again. So I started a little pit bull breeding program as well. But it was really originally in 2017, which is not just a few years. The main idea behind it was to bring back into my bullies, you know, to put pit bulls back in. Because the bullies, let's face it, this was never supposed to be a bulldog breed. It was supposed to be a pit bull bully breed, a pit bully breed. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's been way past that. So I'll try to go. Most people know the story. I was like 14 years old. I used to take when we moved from Brooklyn to Staten Island, my family, and then I used to take the ferry to Manhattan, like, you know, just to get out. I was real young, so I had a skateboard. We used to go across the ferry to the park over there, and there was like a gang in there. They were kind of like a bunch of thugs, and they had a bunch of pit bulls. They were fighting them all the time and stuff. I had a skateboard. I think one of them was going to steal my skateboard, so I pretty much said, hey, take the skateboard and let me get the dog. I traded the skateboard basically for a dog. His name was Blue Thunder. That's what the kid called him. They had no place to keep their dog, so I grabbed that dog and I took him home. I think it was a movie called The Blue Thunder back in the 80s. But this was like 1989, the year I'm talking about. So I think something like that. There was a movie, a helicopter movie called Blue Thunder. It was like a police movie. And that's where that name came from. Oh. So that was my first dog, and I bred it to a lot of dogs in Staten Island in the neighborhood. It was just muck stuff. And then I think in 1989, the movie Turner and Hooch came out with Tom Hanks. And nobody knew what that breed was, what it was. It was some kind of mastiff. Back then, Dog World magazine was black and white, and you really didn't have color ads or anything like that. You never seen what the dogs looked like. Right. So what happened was, I found the Dog World ad, and I started searching what that breed was in that movie, and then I found out it was called the Dog de Bordeaux from just a number I called. It was a guy named Peter Curley. He was the one that imported the dog for the movie Turner and Hooch. The dog's name was Beasley, and he lived in Wisconsin, and there was only 8 of them in the country. There was 8 of them in the country, and most of them were the bull mastiffs. They were putting them in because that's why you had a lot of Dog de Bordeaux with the black faces back then. But they were mostly bull mastiffs going into the 8 dogs that were here from France. So, so the gene pool was real small. I bought one off of him, was pregnant. I drove down there when I was like 17, 18 years old. I kidnapped my neighbor's kid. He was like 16. Took the ride with me. He stepped in my car. I bought one. I sold my comic book collection to buy it. It was $2,800. And she was pregnant. Came back, bred the dog. My cousin Ann, who was like my aunt, she helped me whelp the litter. It was my first litter. Sold them all. I put a little black and white ad in Dog World magazine. It was like $100. Sold them all and made sick money. And I was like, what the fuck? That's what I did. From that point on, I did it. And then I bred Mastiff till I was about It was like 95, 96, 97.
Right.
I got my first computer at 1995. I remember because my best friend passed away, and it was the weekend until that void. I went and bought a computer. Yeah, and I bought the computer, and I was going. I think in like 1998, I was looking at California. They were selling big, giant blue pit bulls for $1,500, and I was like, damn, that's close to what I'm getting for the Mastiffs. And the Mastiffs were never my favorite breed. It wasn't for me. And I always wanted to make a little money, but I wanted to come from the heart, you know. And it was always pit bulls. But back then, it was from the '76 when it changed when they made it illegal to fight dogs. People were still doing it all the way up to like late '90s. Like Mayday was running rampant. There was in the '90s. He was very famous. It was all offspring off of him throughout Staten Island, Brooklyn. You used to Manhattan, the Bronx. You used to find dogs off Mayday back then. Stuff like that. And then, so, you know, but they were like, you know, they were cheaper. And I was getting $3,000 at that time for $2,800 or whatever it was for Mastiff. So I wasn't going to go back. And then, like I said, about the late 90s, I saw gray line dogs going for a lot more money. And then I saw Razor's Edge in 2000, 2001. He had a website, Dave, and his wife then, his different wife. Anyway, so I started getting rid of the Mastiffs because the genes were so small. They had a lot of health problems. And like I said, it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't my first love. So then I started buying pit bulls again, and it was like 99. I had a yard full of pit bulls, you know?
Now,
so,
there's another question I had for you. I noticed a lot of red on your yard. Is that just kind of the direction, or because I did a little bit of a video on like Old Family, because you know a lot of people call their dogs red nose and they're actually like they just happen to have a red nose kind of thing. But I know I noticed like a lot of your dogs on your on your website here, a lot of them are red. Did that just happen to happen, or was it?
It happened because I'm going for structure now. Like I said, I'm breeding totally on passion right now, and I'm not breeding for color. So it just happened that way. I'm breeding for two things: temperament and structure, and that's where it took me. But the Old Family red dogs, those are the ones that's behind my pit bull. The Bullies are still, even though they're red, they're from the Champagnes and the red noses that Dave Wilson started putting in, and then again Tony from Wait and Go Kennels put in. So, like, I started breeding Razor's Edge in the early 2000s too. I was one of the first people to do the crosses between Razor's Edge and Gotti. People were doing it before me, but I was one of the main ones that started making it popular.
Right.
And I think it was like 2002, 2003, and I was crossing them. But like I said, I was making a giant pit bull that was more laid back towards other animals. I wasn't trying to make a bulldog breed. Not by any means was it supposed to be a bulldog breed.
I just did that bully broadcast thing last night on Facebook, and we were getting into that very topic because I've definitely hurt feelings, I think, here and there on my channel. But I'm
gonna too with this.
But the problem for me is like, I mean, I wasn't doing dog videos for everybody else. I was doing them for me, and that's where my love was back right when Razor's Edge Gotti started crossing. That was my golden age, basically. So
yeah, I had Golden Bulls Jaden. She was 50-50 or 75-25. But yeah, and she's behind. She's my main stud now. Great grandma. Okay. So, but that's the way that we were originally doing it. And then I could think in 2004, we had a meeting at Dave's house. The Lead Edge had a meeting. I was like the president or the vice president of the club. And we had a meeting, and I remember someone coming up with the name American Bully. Because you see, UKC started pulling a lot of our paperwork, not mine so much, because my dogs still look like kind of pit bull. But some of the dogs, like my dog Viper, he was real bulldog. A lot of them started looking like bulldogs, and UKC started pulling a lot of people's papers. Mm-hmm. So it was only a matter of time before we became, like, someone started a registry, and everybody wanted Dave to do it. He was really much the only one that would sacrifice everything and that could be trusted to sacrifice everything to do it, because it's a big sacrifice. You sacrifice friendships, you sacrifice time, family, and he did it. But I was kind of against the name at first. When we had the Elite Edge, everybody was supposed to change from, pit bulls to bullies. I was like the last one to change Devil's Den pit bulls to Devil's Den bullies. I was real reluctant to do it. I never wanted anything to do with anything else but breeding the dogs. Never wanted to sell merchandise. I wanted to support the registry, but not have my hand in. Everybody wanted a hand in everything back then. I just really wanted to breed the dogs, love the dogs, and hang out with people. But then, like I said, and then it grew from there, 2004, basically. From what I remember, that I think Dre from Corleone Kennels he used to fly in. He lived in Malta, island below Italy. He used to fly in all the time. And he was the first time I ever heard the word American Bully was out of his mouth. So I don't know.
Now, do you still keep in contact with a lot of these guys?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm friendly with everybody. I don't leave any haters behind me. Like, I always try to keep in touch, Talk to Dave once in a while. Once a year or so, we say what's up. Like I said, all my dogs right now are registered ABKC. I 100% support that registry. It's not their fault that the dogs get bulldogs. It's just a fad, They do their best they can to keep it clean. They really do.
Fair enough. That was when it started going away from, that original thing, I just started to lose touch with it.
100%. Me too. See, what happened was from 2011 to 2017, I started moving to Pennsylvania. I was building houses. I was doing other stuff outside the dog world. Kind of took a back seat for a while and let other people run my kennel. Good friends, and these people have more Devil's Den tattoos than I do, so I didn't want to boss them around and be a boss. I kind of wanted folks to be on the same level, so I let them do what they did. And they went in that bully direction. A lot of people thought it was me, and it was me. I was promoting, I was selling pups, but I wasn't hardcore into it. It was my second priority. My first priority was outside businesses. So I let that go, and it got out of hand, man. I mean, they were breeding to these dogs. They started becoming stupid, and I was like, what the hell is going on? So 2017, I really got, pretty much done with outside, jobs and stuff, and I could focus more on the dogs now. And I took back the kennel big time. And I went straight, the first thing I did was go around and get some pit bulls,
Right.
To start breeding. And I started getting Samson blood. See, Samson was one of my first dogs, but he was so clean. And at the time, I had a dog named Viper. So Viper, everybody wanted puppies off of him, and I didn't breed Samson that much. He took a back seat to Viper. Viper looked basically like a bulldog. He looked like a bully you see today. He was one of the first overdone extreme bullies,
Right.
Razor's Edge Viper. And so what I did was in 2017, I went out to look for people that had Samson blood. I only bred him a few times. And Tony from Maine Gold Kennels, he had a dog that was double bred Samson, and he made everything in his yard from that blood, which was my original blood off of Samson. So what I did was Razor's Edge. And I went to him, and I bought 5 dogs off him. And this was 2017. And that's how I started up again, But
I noticed that the dogs I can see on the site here are very classic. And
yeah. Well, classic bully is the real American bully.
Right.
The classic is I don't even know where they came up with. That's supposed to be the standard, in my opinion. I'm okay with the classic, long as they keep the class. But you can call it whatever you want, but that's the original American bully.
Right.
I don't think anyone will argue with me about that.
Lately, I've been noticing that there's a very gray area between, say, the classic bully and the working pit bulldog in the ADVA, which is that larger one. So, I'm kind of.
It's funny that you said that, because I want to do something with ABKC and try to get them to register that breed as a breed, the pit bulldog.
Yeah, it's perfect. The working pit bulldog is everything
100% agree with you.
That's everything that I was after coming in,
100%. And that's the vision I had for the last 25 years, was the pit bulldog.
Yeah.
You'll see kennels on Instagram. I don't know them too well, a guy Unleashed Kennels.
Yeah, I got him on
Ryan
Instagram.
Glass. He's doing it a little bit.
Yeah,
So
Unleashed Kennels. The guy I talked to a few times, Doug Barton over at Swamp Donkeys. I think is his. I hope I don't get him confused. I don't think so, but I mean these dogs are these dogs are flawless.
Right, they're in that direction, right, and that's what I'm heading in that direction. But with the dog that I started with, I want my dog to be in the pedigree. So and I'm a breeder, so I want to produce it. I want to get there slowly. I don't want to just buy it. I bought a lot of my old blood back, spent thousands of dollars. I'm not ashamed to buy dogs off of good people. Still, I'll buy a dog right now. But like I said, I want to create it myself. And that's where I'm headed, in that direction. I totally respect those guys. I don't know them, but I see everything on Instagram, and I get excited, that people are that much more involved into that look now. It's making a big comeback, and I said it all along, even in the mid-2000s, I said it's going to make a comeback, and I couldn't wait. Even then, I said I can't wait till it comes back. And that's basically why I was taking that break between 2011 and 2017. I got really financially stable, and now I could do whatever I want. I could turn people away. I don't have to sell dogs for money. I'm in a better spot. So it's really from the passion now, And I don't care if anyone likes what I'm doing now,
right. And that's
so I don't want to be
hats off to that, honestly, because that look that you and I agree on, like, that needs to be. And I know, when people just throw them all under one umbrella, American Bully, Pitbull, all these different things, Staffies even.
Yeah. I try not to do that.
I think that, for Rudy, for example, your male.
Right.
I think that would be a better, all around face of the Pitbull umbrella, if you want to call it that, because he's back in the day when I needed my house guarded, and I wanted a dog that can, protect me and my family. That was the dog I was after. It wasn't necessarily the tiny 50-pound game pit bull or the giant 100-pound pit bull. It was that I'm looking at that picture of Rudy right now. That right there is what I was after.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And I'm breeding Rudy to Bullies this year. I'm actually breeding into Bullies. I'm actually doing, this is getting bred to Havoc. I'm doing some experimental things, and it's going to be fun. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but I know the genes are there, the red genes are there, the temperament's there, the muscle is there 10 times over. So I'm going to have fun with it, But, and I don't think they're going to fit in the classic class, I can tell you that much. And I was leaning towards maybe possibly seeing what the ABKC will do if they'll ever register that as a breed, the pit bulldog. I mean, I have ADBA. I use ADBA and for my pit bulls, and I use ABKC. I'll never register an American Bully under any other registry except for American Bully Kennel Club. That's the original Kennel Club. They have the stud book. Anything else is fake to me if it says American Bully on it.
Right. So you don't you're not a fan of the UKC Bully then, huh?
No, if UKC American Bully, that's fake papers. They just did that to undercut, and they've always been like that, and stick with the times. That they had no business doing that, and that was wrong. So no, 100%. I won't even breed to a dog if you have American Bully paperwork from UKC. If it says UKC Pitbull, that's a different story. But no, that's not right. It has to be American Bully if it's Kennel Club if it's going to be registered American Bully. So that's just my opinion. You guys do what you want. That's just me.
No, I can see where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah. So the UKC dogs, the pit bulls, they're kind of like the pit bulls, but I don't think they're as put together as the ADBA pit bull dog. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people don't even know that breed exists with ADBA. They think they just register pit bull or American Bully.
Right.
ADBA also registers American Bully.
Yeah, I saw that too. They had this big breed reclassification. I think it was. I could be wrong. Yeah. I think it was only a few years ago.
So we just did a breeding between two ADBA dogs. One of them is an American pit bull dog, and one of them is a pit bull terrier, and we're registering them as pit bull terriers. And I just registered my first pit bull terrier with the ABKC. Unfortunately, I put her into a show at the last Valentine's show, and they didn't even think anything of her. She's a hardcore American pit bull game dog, and she went up against two dogs that were Staffordshire Terriers. They're not even pit bulls at all. They're Staffordshire Terriers, UKC Staffordshire Terriers, or AKC Staffordshire Terriers. That's how clean they were.
Which dog was that?
That was Sicily. So she didn't do good at all. What you have now in the ABKC, you have a lot of judges that only been into the game for about maybe 5 years. Right. And they have no clue what's up, none. So they're picking dogs that look like bulldogs, and they pick and they have no clue about pit bulls. That they're so far gone. They're not even nowhere near that yet. I would love for that to work out, and for ABKC to grow with other breeds like that, like pit bull dog or the pit bull, but real pit bulls.
Yeah, it would be nice. Now, okay, what is your thoughts on the new Merle thing going on?
There is no thought. I would be the biggest hypocrite, man. We had the MSN message boards in the early 2000s. I was one of the biggest critics on Merle dogs. There is no thought. That's not even in my head. I would never even think about owning one of those. It's just not for me. You see, this is what happens, though. It gets so popular, and I work with a lot of people. I'm very friendly. I get along with everybody, and it ends up somebody's going to come to you, and you're going to have that in their job. It already happened, huh? But that clothing come out. But that's how I got my dog so bulldog. Because everybody around you is breeding into bulldogs. Even if you're not doing it, you're going to be involved. If you're going, you have to really try hard and be secluded and do your own thing and spend a lot more time and money on your own to get away from what everybody else is doing. Right. And it's hard sometimes, especially if that's not your main thing. Like if you have an outside job or a full-time business, So that's where I was. I'm not making that mistake. I'm trying to stay away from certain dogs. If I ever saw a dog I can't even imagine breeding for Merle. I don't even see why that would happen. It would totally be for money. And there's one thing I haven't done since 2017 was breed a dog for money. Money is great, but I will not put two dogs together unless I have a reason to, and I keep something out of it. Of course I'm selling the rest. 100%. I have a bad habit, and it pays for it. But it has to have a reason,
Right.
So if I was to breed to a Merle, if you ever see me doing it, it's something's wrong somewhere.
Right, I got you. Well,
that's one thing I've hung up on people because they ask about colors. I can't have a conversation with someone that's interested in buying a puppy off me, and it's all about color.
Right. Well, I'm guilty of that, but I'm not a breeder though, and I'm not like I've bred dogs here and there, but my thing is just having, I guess, the perfect pack of dogs. So when it comes to that, I do get a little. That's just me. I get a little strict on, what color of pit I want.
When you call a breeder and you ask them, what they got going on, and they spend their time showing you, you don't have to get into every little detail about what you want, because that changes every second. So I don't even want to hear what you want. You know what I mean? When you're calling me, I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and if it turns you on, then great. If not, that's fine too. Right. I don't want to hear about all that stuff, because they'll keep you on the phone. They tell you about the whole life story, which is good when you get to know them later on. But that first phone call, if you can't be all about that, let me show you what I'm doing. If you like it, then call me back.
Right. I imagine that there's definitely a lot of those phone calls.
Oh, I can't even keep up with my phone, man. And plus, I don't like texting, so I'm really bad. Like I always like to talk on the phone more than texting.
Yeah.
And a lot of breeders are like, just texting, and it's more of an avoidance thing with texting. And I answer my texts like emails. I'll sit down and do them all at once. So everybody's like, I called you. I'm like, you didn't call me. And they're like, yeah, I did. And I look and I said, you text me. I have a million texts on my phone. I can't get to them. I won't be able to drive my car, do my kids' homework if I'm answering texts,
Right.
So I'd rather just get a phone call in and get it over with, and that's it. That's me. You know, I guess I'm old school. You know, I'm going to be 49 years old. I'm up there, so I'm setting my ways. You know, I've been doing this since we used to make VCR tapes and mail them to people. They used to contact you from a Dog World magazine ad, and then you used to send them videos of your dog before computers existed. That's how long I've been doing it. You know?
Right. I gotcha.
So I'm pretty set in my ways with a lot of stuff.
Now, if it comes to, say somebody wants to come get a dog from you, and this is just for the people listening, what would you tell them ahead of time to kind of cut out? Because even like with the little bit of, you know, some of the pups I you know, have produced, even, you know, having posts online and having, you know, 100 people call me up and, like you said, tell me their whole life story and whatnot. What would you tell the people listening before they even call you? What should they have figured out already?
Oh, well, that's why I try to put a lot of information on my website about how I feel and about, like, I come across a little bit of a wise ass, but it cuts a lot of people out. You know what I mean? A lot of personalities that I don't even want to deal with.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I don't really know what you mean by exactly, but I get right to the point. I'm very quick. I tell them what I have. I ask them a lot of questions. I do, because I want these dogs fed. I want them to live in good homes. I don't want to get them back, and I definitely don't want them in a shelter or another home, you know? Right. So I definitely want to see what they're... And I tell them right off the bat, my dogs are people-friendly, but very dog-aggressive. There's one thing I don't like seeing is a lot of people doing protection work. There's some people that are really good at it, and they can get away with it, but there's this breed, the pitbull and the bully, they're really supposed to be extremely people-friendly and extremely dog-dominant, and that's how I breed them. So if I have a people-aggressive dog in my breeding program, I cut it out of the program. If he's naturally people-aggressive for no reason, he gets cut out of the program. If I have a dog-aggressive dog, like I have a dog that will kill a puppy on sight, like she's insane, and she's still in my breeding program. Not that I'm, you know, it's my responsibility as a breeder and a dog owner not to let that happen. And I accept that responsibility with one or two of my dogs. I wouldn't want a whole yard full of them. So I'll still breed dog-aggressive dogs, but I will not breed people-aggressive dogs. And if I do protection work, it has to be, I would rather do it with a German Shepherd personally, but a dog that's meant for that. But if I had to do it, it would be just a dog that picked a 1 out of 100 to 10 pick, you know? And that's my friend Joe. He's really trying to do that. And he spent all this time and money on a dog, and he's stopping it now. He says it's not the right dog, and I respect that 100%. You know. So,
now, would you in your opinion, say you know it's that situation, and you do find that 1 out of 100? What are based on chance? What do you think that would come out of first, a pit bull or a bully?
That's the best question. I think it would be more of a pit bull dog. Mm-hmm. You know,
for sure.
That would be the ultimate one for me. Because a pit bull would be too aggressive, and a bully would be not as aggressive as not. You know, it has less drive. You know, you want that perfect combination. It's not going to be a dog that fits in either standard, especially the standard American bully. And I don't see that perfect dog fitting into the American Pit Bull Terrier standard either. So I would say somewhere in the classic or the Pit Bulldog look. Right. You know, I mean, I'm sure you knew that already.
Yeah, I just wanted to, for the people, I just wanted to hear it from you and what you thought. Because, I mean, obviously, if you've been doing this 25 years.
And I've been longer than that. But, yeah, and that's originally what the American Bully was supposed to be. You understand? You know? You got to remember, when the American Bully, we were changing the name because BSL was running rampant through the country. It was a felony to walk in Miami in 2003 with a pit bull. It was down the street with a pit bull. It was a felony. It was insane what was going on. They were, you know, like somebody was driving through Colorado with a truck full of dogs as he was moving, and he parked in someone's driveway overnight, and someone called the cops on him, and then he had pit bulls, and they took all his dogs. Like, pit bulls, they were taking pit bulls everywhere. Like, it was, you know, and that was in the early 2000s.
They were going door to door in Denver, dude.
Exactly. So we were changing the name and the look to save the breed. It wasn't to make a bulldog breed. And eventually it evolved into something else, and I totally respect that. And I love the success that it's had, especially for the American Bully Kennel Club. Those are people that it was started by people that it's in their blood. You cannot, that's just their life, and they dedicate their whole entire being to it. Whether you like them or not, it's, and you got to respect that. So yeah, I'm happy for the success it's had, and I think they got good judges. Like they got Tony now from Wait and Go Kennel. She's gonna pick better dogs. They got a couple of good people that have been in the game for a long time and know what they're doing, and don't want bulldog traits, and take the time. Best yard I've ever been to. 2017, I went to Wait and Go Kennels, my friend Tony, and his yard was just so on point. I was so impressed. Like I said, I bought 5 dogs off of him. All of them had my old blood in it, behind it. And one of the dogs behind it, which was Samson, his double-bred Samson dog. It wasn't, it was back in the pedigree, and that made me happy, and it justified in my view buying the dogs. Did it have much to do with it? No, it's all his work. He unbelievable work he put into the dog, and I was like, he wanted a bully style dog too, though. He told me, I think, a lot of more of the ones that leaned along the plastic line, and I was happy to take them, put them in my program,
For sure. And actually, what you said earlier, that's what I've been saying. Actually, all the time lately is, when the Bully originally started, we were using them for protection. We were using them to guard our house and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could see the importance of changing that over the years. All
right. I just think that there's certain breeds of dogs that were meant to do certain things. And, of course, these breeds, they were more of a fighting dog or a herding dog, and you can't do those things anymore. So there's nothing else to do. You think there's nothing else to do, but there's other stuff to do. Like, you could do competitions and stuff. You can do dog sports and stuff. You don't necessarily have to train your dog to bite, especially if you own a lot of property. Your dog bites the wrong person. Even if it bites the right person, they'll still sue you, and they'll take everything you have. I'm just not into these dogs doing too much protection work. It's very selective people that are responsible enough to do that,
Right, and I have seen very few and far between, as opposed to the Malinois Shepherd world.
A lot of people are posting up videos on fleas and stuff, but that's play drive or prey drive. It's not defensive drive. So you see a lot of those dogs biting on the owner's sleeve. That's total prey and play drive. It's not defensive drive. The dog is not defending itself. It's not in a defensive mode. It's in more of a prey and play drive. And that is okay. Like, I'll throw a sleeve on with Ranger, but he's not trying to kill me,
Right.
He's trying to kill that sleeve, but it's a prey drive. It's not a defensive drive. And that's as far as I go with them personally. And a lot of people are posting up. They think that's protection. They don't even know the difference,
Right. I mean, that definitely makes sense. But anyway, that was pretty much all I had to ask. Is there anything you wanted to toss in there?
No, I appreciate the interview, man. I love your channel, and I appreciate the call too.
I appreciate you giving me your time, man. I know you're busy lately. You said you were were you dog transporting or something the last time we spoke?
Yeah, I delivered. Well, my partner lives in Texas, and we meet in the middle, and we did a run. We pick up and exchange dogs. And I do a little bit of transporting my own dogs to people that I'm working with. But yeah, I have partners all over the place. I co-own a lot of dogs with people. A tremendous amount of dogs with people. I co-own more dogs with people than I own myself. I have 12 dogs with me, and then I maybe own 40-something dogs, maybe co-own them. So yeah, I'm always running around, and I like to run around. That's never changed with me, So yeah, that's what I was doing. I was meeting Otis. We meet in Tennessee every 3 months. It's about the halfway mark for me and him, and we hang out for the weekend,
That's cool. That's really cool.
Nice.
But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on and giving us your time and whatnot. And
yeah, man,
keep me posted on everything. Keep me updated on what you got going on, and maybe in the future we could do like a part 2 just to kind of let everybody
Sure,
know
man,
what
that'd
you
be
got
great.
going on. But I definitely
Yep,
appreciate
I
you
really
coming on,
appreciate
man.
Thanks, bro. I'll definitely keep in touch.
All right, man.
All right?
Peace.
All right. Have a good one.